Kuldhara. Even the name sent shivers down your spine. It was a ghost village, abandoned for centuries. Legend said its inhabitants vanished overnight, leaving behind an eerie silence that hung heavy in the air. Near the village stood a mansion, its crumbling walls whispering tales of forgotten times. Locals claimed it was haunted, a place where shadows danced and voices echoed from the past. No one dared to go near the mansion. It stood alone, a grim reminder of Kuldhara's dark secret. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the deserted village. A cool breeze swept through the ruins, carrying the scent of dust and decay.
Have you heard the story?
They say the villagers disappeared because of a cruel king.
I heard he wanted to marry a girl from the village.
And when they refused, he cursed them all.
The friends fell silent, the weight of the legend pressing down on them. They knew they shouldn't be here, but the allure of the unknown was too strong to resist.
Let's go closer.
Maybe we shouldn't. It's getting late.
But her protests were drowned out by the others' eagerness. They were drawn towards the mansion like moths to a flame.
This place is creepy. No, S2, are you scared?
But her voice betrayed her fear.
I dare you to go inside.
His words hung in the air, a challenge they couldn't ignore. It was as if the mansion itself was beckoning them, daring them to uncover its secrets.
Let's do it.
And without another word, they crossed the threshold into the unknown. The air inside the mansion was heavy and still, thick with the dust of ages. It felt as though time itself had stopped, leaving behind a palpable sense of history and mystery. The walls seemed to whisper secrets of the past, stories long forgotten by the world outside. Sunlight filtered weakly through the grimy windows, illuminating a scene of utter desolation. The feeble rays struggled to penetrate the thick grime, casting eerie shadows that danced across the room. It was a place where light and darkness seemed to battle for dominance, creating an atmosphere both haunting and mesmerizing. Cobwebs draped the furniture like ghostly shrouds, and dust lay thick on the floor. Each step they took left footprints in the dust, a silent testament to their presence in this forgotten place. The furniture, once grand and opulent, now stood as silent sentinels of a bygone era, their beauty hidden beneath layers of neglect. The only sounds were the creaking of the old house and the beating of their own hearts. The silence was almost deafening, broken only by the occasional groan of the ancient structure settling. It was as if the mansion itself was alive, breathing and watching their every move.
This is so cool. The words echoed through the empty halls, a stark contrast to the eerie silence that had enveloped them moments before. It was a mixture of awe and fear, a recognition of the mansion's haunting beauty and its unsettling presence.
They moved cautiously through the mansion, their footsteps loud in the stillness. Each creak of the floorboards seemed to amplify in the quiet, a reminder of the mansion's age and the countless stories it held within its walls. They felt like intruders in a sacred space, treading carefully to avoid disturbing the ghosts of the past. Each room they entered was like stepping back in time, frozen in a moment of forgotten tragedy. The rooms were filled with antique items, each one a relic of a different era, telling its own story. It was as if the mansion was a museum of memories, each room a different exhibit of lives once lived. They found a library with shelves lined with dusty books, their pages brittle with age. The books were a treasure trove of knowledge and history, each one a window into the past. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and leather, a testament to the countless hours spent in quiet study and contemplation. In the dining room, a long, ornate table sat undisturbed, as if waiting for guests who would never arrive. The table was set with fine china and silverware, now dulled by time and neglect. It was a poignant reminder of the mansion's former glory, a silent witness to the passage of time and the inevitability of change. As they explored deeper into the mansion, the atmosphere grew colder, and a sense of unease settled upon them. The air was thick with an unspoken dread, each creak of the floorboards echoing like a distant scream. Shadows seemed to dance on the walls, playing tricks on their minds, making them question what was real and what was imagined. They began to hear soft whispers, faint and indistinct, seeming to come from the walls themselves. The whispers were like a distant memory, just out of reach, yet hauntingly familiar. It was as if the very walls were alive, breathing secrets of the past into the present.
Did you hear that? The voice trembled, barely above a whisper, as if speaking louder would summon whatever was lurking in the shadows.
Priya whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Her breath was shallow, each exhale a visible puff in the cold air. She clutched her jacket tighter, trying to ward off the chill that seemed to seep into her very bones. The others nodded, their faces pale in the fading light. They huddled closer together, seeking comfort in their shared terror. The mansion seemed to close in around them, its dark corners hiding untold horrors. The whispers seemed to follow them, growing louder with each step they took, It was as if the mansion itself was alive, guiding them deeper into its heart, where the true terror awaited. The hallways twisted and turned, a labyrinth of fear and uncertainty. In one room, they found a child's nursery, with a rocking horse frozen mid-gallop, and a doll lying abandoned on the floor. The room was eerily still, as if time had stopped. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the walls seemed to whisper the laughter of children long gone.
Look at that rocking horse! It's moving! The voice was filled with a mix of awe and terror, unable to comprehend the sight before them.
As they watched, the rocking horse began to move, swaying gently back and forth as if pushed by an invisible hand. The creak of the wood was deafening in the silence, each movement a reminder of the unseen presence that surrounded them. A cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing their only source of light. The darkness was absolute, a suffocating blanket that wrapped around them, amplifying their fear. They were plunged into darkness, the whispers louder than ever, swirling around them like a vortex of fear. The shadows seemed to come alive, reaching out with ghostly fingers, threatening to pull them into the abyss.
I can't see anything. What's happening? The voice was frantic, filled with the desperation that echoed through the darkness.
The fear was palpable, gripping them tighter with every passing moment. They clung to each other, their only solace in the face of the unknown. The mansion seemed to pulse with a life of its own, feeding off their terror, growing stronger with each beat of their racing hearts. Panic surged through the group. They stumbled back, bumping into each other in their haste to escape the room. But as they fumbled for the door, they realized it was locked.
Help.
Neha screamed, her voice high with terror.
We're trapped!
They rattled the doorknob, but it wouldn't budge. The whispers seemed to mock their fear, growing louder and more insistent. They were trapped in the mansion's clutches, at the mercy of whatever unseen forces lurked within its walls.
We have to get out of here.
Priya's voice was shaking. They searched frantically for another way out, but the windows were nailed shut, and the only other door was bolted from the inside. The whispers seemed to be closing in, swirling around them like a malevolent wind. They could feel the presence of something unseen, something cold and menacing, watching their every move.
What do they want?
Priya whimpered, her voice barely audible above the whispers. As if in answer to her question, the whispers suddenly coalesced into a single, chilling word, echoing through the room. Whispers. Leave. The word hung in the air, heavy with warning. It was clear the unseen presence wanted them gone, and it was growing impatient. But how could they leave when they were trapped? Fear threatened to consume them, but they knew they couldn't give in. They had to find a way out, before it was too late. The air grew colder, and the whispers intensified, their voices filled with anger and menace. Then, a shadow moved in the far corner of the room, a flicker of darkness against the gloom.
Look!
Maya gasped, pointing towards the shadowy figure. It was tall and skeletal, its edges blurred and indistinct. It seemed to float above the ground, its eyes glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light. Terror lent them a burst of adrenaline. They threw themselves against the door, their combined weight finally bursting it open. They stumbled out into the hallway, fleeing blindly through the mansion. They ran through the mansion, their hearts pounding in their chests. The shadowy figure pursued them relentlessly, its glowing eyes burning into their backs. They raced through darkened hallways, their footsteps echoing in the silence. Doors slammed shut behind them as if the mansion itself was trying to hinder their escape. They finally burst out of the mansion and into the cool night air. They didn't stop running until they reached the safety of the village outskirts. Panting and breathless, they turned to look back at the mansion, its silhouette stark against the moonlit sky. But as they watched, something strange happened. The mansion began to shimmer, its outline blurring and distorting. And then, right before their eyes, it vanished. The friends stared at the spot where the mansion had stood moments before, their minds struggling to comprehend what they had just witnessed. It was as if the mansion had never existed, swallowed whole by the night. They returned to the village, their clothes torn and their faces pale with terror. They told their story to anyone who would listen, but their words were met with disbelief and skepticism. No one believed their tale of the haunted mansion and the shadowy figure. Search parties were sent out, but they found no trace of the mansion. It was as if it had vanished into thin air, taking its secrets with it. The five friends left Kuldhara the next day, their summer vacation forever tainted by the memory of that terrifying night. They had come seeking adventure and stories to tell, but what they found was something far more sinister. The village, with its eerie silence and abandoned homes, had always been a place of mystery, but now it held a darker secret that they would carry with them for the rest of their lives. They carried the secret of the haunted mansion with them, a chilling reminder of the unseen forces that lurked in the shadows. Each of them had felt the cold touch of fear that night, a fear that seemed to seep into their very bones. The mansion with its broken windows and decaying walls had been a silent witness to countless untold horrors. As they walked away, they couldn't help but glance back, half expecting to see a ghostly figure watching them from the shadows. And so, the mystery of the haunted mansion of Kuldhara remained unsolved. The villagers had long since abandoned the place, leaving behind only whispers and legends. Some said the mansion was cursed, others believed it was haunted by the spirits of those who had perished within its walls. But no one knew for sure, and perhaps that was the most terrifying part of all. The unknown, the unseen, the things that go bump in the night. These were the things that kept the legend alive. The village stood silent and abandoned, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the enduring allure of the unknown. The crumbling buildings and empty streets seemed to hold their breath, as if waiting for something to happen. The air was thick with the weight of history, and the ground seemed to whisper secrets to those who dared to listen. It was a place where time stood still, where the past and present seemed to merge into one. Some say that on moonless nights, if you listen closely, you can still hear the whispers of the past, echoing through the ruins of Kuldhara. The wind carries the voices of those long gone, telling tales of love, loss, and betrayal. The ruins, bathed in the pale light of the moon, take on an otherworldly glow, casting long shadows that dance and flicker like ghosts. It is a place where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, where the past is never truly gone. And some say that the mansion still appears to those who dare to venture too close, a ghostly apparition shimmering in the moonlight. It stands as a silent sentinel, guarding its secrets and waiting for the next curious soul to come along. The brave, or perhaps the foolish, who venture too close often speak of strange occurrences, flickering lights, cold drafts, and the feeling of being watched. The mansion seems to come alive at night, its very walls whispering secrets to those who dare to listen. But whether these tales are true, or simply the product of overactive imaginations, one thing is certain: the legend of the haunted mansion of Kuldhara lives on. It is a story passed down through generations, a tale that continues to captivate and terrify. The mystery remains a puzzle that may never be solved. And perhaps that is for the best, for some secrets are meant to stay hidden, and some mysteries are better left unsolved. The haunted mansion of Kuldhara stands as a reminder of the unknown, a place where the past and present collide, and where the line between reality and legend is forever blurred.